Alright, well, how y'all doing? Come out here again today to make another video on this old Moline. You might have noticed in my last thumbnail, I had this rim kind of setting on the hub with these pieces of wood sticking out. That's basically to space it, kind of space it out. I don't know if I'm going to use these rims or not. I just kind of, we had these kicking around, they're 38s. So I rolled it in here just to see what it would take to make them work. And it's going to take quite a lot, but I don't think it would be too difficult. Basically, it's a 38-inch rim, and from center to center, top and bottom, it's 36 inside diameter. So it's basically what the original rim is on the outside, but on the inside. So it's a pretty good gap to have to make braces for, but I have a couple of ideas. And it's a shame these rims aren't 8, it's only 6, or it might would just bolt right up, but there's 6 of them instead of 8. So getting in here, I've done the math as to how big this gap should be. The original rim is 32 3/4. This one is dead on 36. So if I'm doing it right, it should be 1 inch and 5/8 gap all the way around. It should be. I don't know, but I think that's about right. You know, and that's not from center hole to rim, that's from there to there. So I do have a couple of ideas. One of them is I got to get these off of here because they're not in the right spots. For one, there's not enough of them, so these have to go, which I'm not looking forward to because they are welded. I mean, they are welded. They have a solid bead all the way around them. Basically, all these are is 2 pieces of angle butted up, welded down, a piece of, what do you call it, thick wall tubing, and then 2 pieces of flat stock, looks like about a 1/4 inch steel by about 1.5 inches, something like that, or 2 inches. And then they welded all that up, you know, made these little perches. What I think I'm going to do, or what I'm thinking about doing, is cutting all these off and cutting them in half. That way I'll have 2. I'll have some extras, but if I cut them in half, I can come up with 6 out of, or come up with 8 out of the 6 that I have on the rim. So if I split 4 of them in half, I'd have enough to do 1 rim, basically. And I'm thinking that these will work without too much trouble, I think. I don't know that for sure, but I think. I just have to, when I get them cut off, I can kind of guess a little bit better. Right now it's kind of hard to figure all that out with them on here, but I'm pretty sure that that would work. But like I said, I don't know yet. I dread cutting those off. I'm also going to have to demount the tires, which these tires are junk. But I've been trying to get rims, the right kind of rims, 36 inches. But every time I try to get them, they're either way too expensive or hard to get. I mean, they're not really that expensive considering how much rims are in like books. Rims in books are like $600-700 a piece. The ones I was trying to get were like $300 a piece, and they were just 36 inch. One of them had 8 of these things. The other one's just a plain rim, 36. But it was going to be $1,100 for both. Either way you go, with the 8 or plain. The $1,100 was ones we're looking at on the internet, and then the ones with these were a local person who was going to order them for us but once the shipping was added, it was going to be $1,100. So it was like the same either way we go, local or internet. So that's a lot of money. That's not counting tires, tubes, none of that. That's just a set of rims. And, you know, that's all said and done, it would be over $2,500 for tires and rims, pumped up, holding air on the tractor. Which to some people that might not sound like a lot, but to me, that's a pretty hefty chunk of money for something like this. Because this tractor doesn't really have a lot of practical use. It's more or less for fun. So fun ain't worth $2,500. But with these, I can get a good, decent set of tires for about $1,500, which is still a lot of money, but that's way better than that's $1,000 of savings there. So, of course, I could probably get a cheaper deal on some tires, but for now, I think I'm going to try to go with these. First things first, I've got to get those, get these old tires off and get those mounting points cut away so I can just have a clean rim to mock up with spacers or whatever I need to see what I've got to do to get this to work. So I'm going to get started doing that, and when I get some progress, I'll show it to you guys. Alright, so been a couple days, but I got that rim, got the tire unmounted, and I got those things cut off, and I've made these little tabs. Those are just to center the rim on the cast piece, so everything's where it needs to be. I just gotta, you know, finish the backspacing and everything. But good news is these will work. I just got to cut them in half. So that's going to be the fun part. Cut them right down the middle. They'll line right up with the holes. You see? So all I got to do is cut them down the middle and get some bolts, grind this surface, try to get some tack welds with my junky wire welder that I have over here. And then I'm going to take the whole rim off, take it home, weld it up real good with the good welder, and then move on to the next. So, tell you one thing, getting this tire off, whew, man, that was rough. I had to just saw it off with the sawzall. It was so bad. It wouldn't give at all. Like, I beat it with a sledgehammer. I had to finally take the tractor with the front end loader to break the bead. But I got it. It took about a day, but I got it. I'm not looking forward to the next one, but it's got to be done. Alright, so here's what I've got going on now. I've got the other rim. I broke the tire off of it and cut all the mounting things off. And I cut a couple of these in half, so I've got enough now to do one rim. I might take the grinder and kind of flush that surface, but other than that, you know, they'll work pretty good. Going there just like that. So, and they're going to have a little bit of a gap, but I think they had a gap anyway, so it shouldn't amount to anything. I think what I'm going to try to do is behind every one of them, I'm going to cut a chunk of steel and weld it so it's making contact with the underside of this. So it's not just a bolt, it's actually a physical rest pushing down. And I might even on here build this up to that tube, flush that up, so it'll be sitting on this little perch, which I'm pretty sure it'll do it, because I mean that's about what that tube is, you know. So that's all I've got so far. So I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna try to get these rims sanded down where I can weld anywhere, and tack weld those pieces on, and get these rims ready to go. So I'll be back. Alright, so here's what I've got so far. Got the rim, got both of them. There's the other one over there. Got both of them sanded on the inside, the bare metal, so I can weld. I've got all my pieces cleaned and kind of V'd on the edges. Got them flushed up where I had to cut them. So now I can just put them on there like that once I figure out my spacing. And do 4 of them, spot weld them, take the things off, do 4 more, spot weld them, take the rim off, and do the next one that way. So I'm going to get started doing that, and I'll be back. Alright, so other than the really ugly tack welds, because I've got no power really strong enough and no really good welder over here, I just got that thing. There it is. 1 of 2 done. So now I got to take this thing off, take it home to the real welder, and burn all those in really good. So the reason I did that over here is because I didn't want to mess with this center. These things are heavy, and I just didn't feel like trying to handle it. So I got it on here, got it set up, and the way I got my depth where I can repeat it, I took this thing here. I don't even know what this thing is, but I took this thing and basically, with those pieces that I made, whenever bolted on here, I took it and put it against it. So I kind of got my own little gauge. So that right there will get the other rim where it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, start on the next one. Alright, so I got both rims done, and I went ahead and welded them up for real. So some of them are kind of ugly, but that was just because where I'd welded with the flux core welder there, it kind of made, you know, splotches, so it kind of broke the flow a little bit. But where it it done pretty good, so good and solid. Now I'm gonna try to make some bolts from some studs. Some of my holes are a little tight, like these two are a little tight, and the same thing on that one that had some tight ones. But you know, that's kind of be expected. You go from tack welds to full-blown welding, it's gonna shift and twist and kind of bind up on you. So kind of expected it, but I might have to kind of ring these holes a size up or something. So I'm gonna get started trying to make some studs, and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm gonna start making these studs. These are just grade 3 bolts. Took them, cut the heads of them off. They're 4 inches long. This is one I tried to do, but it started to get crooked on me. If you can see that, but see, it started to get crooked. So basically these shanks on these bolts, which for you guys that don't know what that is, that's this part that don't have any threads. is actually just a little bit bigger than the diameter you need to thread these. And you know, they're also hardened slightly. So I'm going to take these, chuck them in the lathe, and turn down about 1 inch of this, because that's what I need. I need a 1 inch section of thread. And then that way I can jam nut these, or not jam nut these, jam these in the holes tight, slide them on there, put a nut, lock washer, done. So I'm going to get started doing that, and I'll be back. Alright, so I tried to make some studs last night, and I just wouldn't have any luck trying to do it. So I got on eBay last night. I looked up 1/2 inch by 13 thread, 4 inches long studs, and I found some people that had some. I mean, they were a little high. They were about $9 for 2. So I ordered, but luckily they had had that thing going on where the more you buy, the cheaper. So I ordered 8 sets of 2, which is 16. So that should be plenty to do these. Wasn't a lot of money. It was about $60, but considering the trouble I've been having, $100 would have been worth. So, and yes, I could have took threaded rod or even a soft carriage bolt and cut the head of it off and threaded it in here, and it would have worked out fine. But I just do not trust a soft, untempered bolt in these holes, because this is holding 2 things. It's holding the weight of the tractor, and it's also holding the rotation. You've also got the twist, you've got the turn, and you've got just the fact that it's holding the weight of it up, because there is nothing supporting these to this other than this bolt. So, that being said, that's a lot to ask of an unhardened bolt. So that's why I went on ahead and just ordered some actual made tempered studs that I can thread into here and start these rims. I may still have to ream these holes out even after the studs are installed. I don't know yet, but I'm thinking maybe if I can get it to start, I'll be able to just tighten it up, but we'll have to see. I might still run a drill bit and kind of open the ends of them up a little bit, but other than that, that's the plan. So while I'm waiting on those to come and for my tires to get here, I'm going to go ahead and start getting this paint off and getting this rust off of here. This rim's not as bad as that one. It's pretty rough, but this rim's not as bad. A little bit of pitting in the sides of it, but I think I should be able to needle that out of there pretty easy. You guys can see it. But I don't know what I'm going to paint these just yet. I'm probably going to strip with stripper the outer edges of the rims. I sanded the centers, but that's flat. It's easy to do. The outside, not so much. So I'm probably going to paint remove that stuff and wire brush and needle the inside. Get everything in some primer, and I might paint them. I don't know yet if I'm going to paint them yet, which they'll just be silver. So I don't know if I'll go through the trouble of painting those before I put the tires on or not. And I'm probably going to have someone put the tires on for me because it's a lot of work. But we'll see. Sometimes I get impatient and I just jump in and start doing something. So I might just jump in and start doing it before I take it somewhere. Alright, so it's been a little while, but finally got my new studs in. I just went on ahead and ordered some because I was having no luck making any, so ordered these. It was two for I think $9 on eBay. But it was one of those things where the more you order, the cheaper they are. So when I ordered 8 of them, 8 sets of 2, it was really like $6. So still a little bit of money, but considering that I've got studs now, that's what I wanted. These are 4 inches, double threaded. I don't know how hard they are. They feel pretty hard putting them in. So hopefully they'll do the job, just what I need. They are kind of opposite of what I was wanting. The shank portion is inset instead of like a bolt, how it sticks up. So, but, you know, does the trick. It'll be about like that, and then I'll have that much thread sticking out, so it'll look a little odd, but it won't look as bad as I originally was thinking. I got them all on this side. All I've got to do is jack this side up, spin it around, put the last one in. And the way I put these in is the same way I took them out. 2 nuts. Just about like that, except I put them on over to the thread edge, so that way you got less twist, less flex, more torque that way. So you just put these on there, turn one way, turn the other one, and lock them down and tighten them, turn it in there. You're probably thinking you could put vice grips here. You probably could, but you know, that's not how you're supposed to do it. But that would work. I didn't put any Loctite because if I, for some reason, have to get these back out, or one of them snaps off or something, I won't be fighting glue. So it'll just be friction and maybe a little rust. But I got this done, so now I just gotta jack it up, put this other one in on that side, so get that done. Alright, so I got my tires and wheels on. This took forever, I'm telling you. Painted my rims, just a little bit of a catch up, because I know last video I didn't show any, or last clip I didn't show this, but I took the rims. If you remember, I sanded the inside of them and then welded those on. I paint stripped the edges, wire brushed them, wire brushed the inside, 415 the inside, and then primed the outside with red oxide primer. So that's all ready. And then I painted the rims silver. And then I took them to the tire store, had them mount my tires, and they got oil all over my rim and kind of screwed the paint up a little bit, but I'll have to touch that up in some places now. But these are, I think they're 8-plies. They're pretty aggressive tread, as you can see. And they're a little bit, you know, tighter than most tractors. Most tractor tires are a little bit more at an angle. These are steeper, if that makes sense. But I did have to ream my holes out on both sides. That one was a little bit worse than this one, but I reamed them out, got them to fit on the studs, and it's not setting too high in the back like I thought it was gonna. I thought it would set up higher since these are 38s, but it's stock height. That's what it's supposed to set at, because it come out with 38s. Another thing I forgot to mention, I've come up with a good temporary fuel system. The one I had before, it leaked pretty bad and wasn't fastened very good. Now I've got a good filter, cut-off valve, And of course, tank, obviously. And this carburetor seems to be doing pretty good. It's a little, I need to adjust everything. It's still a little kind of rich in some areas, but it does pretty good. So I think I'm gonna see what this thing will do. I just got these tires put on and everything's jacked up. I gotta pull it out anyway to clean this mess up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. Thank y'all for watching. Sorry for the long wait on the updates, but them tires took a long time. Next video I'm going to try to clean up some of this grease and try to get it ready to prime, hopefully. So, see you guys next time. Bye.